Essay number 91. The 15 most common types of distorted thinking. Your brain is lying to you right now. Not in some dramatic conspiracy theory way, but in small, constant, invisible ways that are shaping every decision you make, every emotion you feel, every story you tell yourself about who you are and what your life means. The human brain isn't designed to show you reality. It's designed to keep you alive. And somewhere along the way, it learned that the best way to keep you alive is to confirm what you already believe, even when what you believe is destroying you. Think about it. If you were raised believing you're a social outcast, your brain will find evidence everywhere that people don't like you. Someone doesn't text back, they hate you. Someone laughs near you, they're laughing at you. Someone's nice to you, they're faking it. Your brain isn't showing you what's true. It's showing you what you're programmed to see. This is called distorted thinking, and here's the thing. We all do it. Every single one of us. The only difference is whether you know you're doing it or whether you think your distorted thoughts are reality. Back in 1981, some psychologists identified the most common patterns of distorted thinking. These aren't rare psychological disorders. These are normal, everyday ways that normal, everyday people torture themselves with their own thoughts. So let's go through them. Let's expose the lies your brain tells you every day. First, filtering. This is when you have a selective relationship with reality. Something happens with 10 good parts and 1 bad part, and guess which part your brain fixates on. Your boss gives you a performance review. 9 categories are excellent, 1 needs improvement. You leave that meeting convinced you're about to be fired. You go to a party, 20 people are friendly, 1 person seems cold. You go home certain that everyone hated you. Your brain has this incredible ability to filter out anything positive and magnify anything negative until that's all you can see. It's like having a photographer in your head who only takes pictures of garbage and then shows you the album saying, "Look, this is your life." Second, polarization. Everything is black or white, all or nothing, perfect or worthless, success or failure. No middle ground exists in your world. You're either the best employee or you should quit. You're either in perfect shape or you're disgusting. Your relationship is either perfect or it's doomed. Life doesn't work in extremes, but your brain insists it does. And since perfection is impossible, you always end up on the failure side of your imaginary divide. Third, overgeneralization. One thing happens once, and suddenly it's a universal law. You get rejected by one person, and now nobody will ever love me. You fail one test, and now I'm stupid. You have one bad day, and now my life is falling apart. Your brain takes a single data point and extrapolates an entire reality from it. It's like seeing one rainy day and concluding that the sun has died. Fourth, mind reading. You're convinced you know what everyone's thinking, especially about you. Your friend seems quiet, they're mad at you. Your date checks their phone, they're bored. Your coworker doesn't say good morning, they think you're incompetent. You've appointed yourself as a psychic, but you're a terrible one. You're not reading minds. You're projecting your own fears and insecurities onto everyone around you, and then believing your projections are facts. Fifth, catastrophizing. Your brain is constantly writing disaster movies with you as the star. Late to work, you'll get fired. Partner seems distant, they're cheating. Slight headache, brain tumor. You live in a constant state of expecting catastrophe because somehow you've convinced yourself that if you imagine the worst, you'll be prepared for it. But you're not preparing for disaster. You're living it every day in your head. Sixth, personalization. Everything is about you. Everything. 2 people whisper at work. They're talking about you. Friend cancels plans. It's because of something you did. Random stranger seems grumpy. You must have offended them somehow. You've made yourself the main character of everyone else's story. But here's the truth. Most people aren't thinking about you at all. They're too busy thinking everything's about them. Seventh, control fallacies. This comes in 2 flavors and they're both poison. Either you believe you have no control, you're a helpless victim of circumstance, fate, other people. Nothing is your fault because nothing is in your control. Or you believe you have total control. You're responsible for everyone's feelings, everyone's problems, everyone's happiness. Everything is your fault because everything is in your control. Both are lies. You have some control, not none, not all, but your brain refuses to accept this nuanced reality. Eighth, fallacy of fairness. You have a secret rule book for how the world should work, and you're constantly angry that no one else is following it. You know what's fair, you know what's right, you know how people should behave, and when reality doesn't match your rule book, you're outraged. But your rules aren't universal laws, they're just your opinions, and demanding the world follow your personal guidebook for existence is like being angry that not everyone speaks your made-up language. Blaming. Everything bad that happens is someone's fault. Either it's everyone else's fault, they're why you're unhappy, unsuccessful, unfulfilled, or it's all your fault. You're the reason everything goes wrong. Either way, you're obsessed with fault-finding instead of problem-solving. You're so busy assigning blame that you never get around to actually fixing anything. 10th, the tyranny of shoulds. You have a mental list of how everyone should behave, including yourself. Should be more successful by now. Should be married. Should be happy. Should be grateful. Should. These shoulds aren't based on reality or possibility or even desire. They're based on rules you absorbed before you were old enough to question them, and now you're using them to beat yourself and everyone else into submission. 11th, emotional reasoning. If you feel it, it must be true. Feel ugly? You must be ugly. Feel stupid? You must be stupid. Feel unwanted? You must be unwanted. Your emotions become facts without any verification. But emotions aren't facts. They're weather patterns in your internal landscape. Just because it's raining inside doesn't mean there's a storm outside. 12th, fallacy of change. Your happiness depends on other people changing. If only your partner would be more affectionate. If only your boss would be less demanding. If only your parents would be more understanding, then you'd be happy. You've made your well-being contingent on things you can't control. Other people's behavior. You're waiting for the world to change instead of changing how you respond to the world. 13th, global labeling. You take one quality and make it everything. Someone makes a mistake, they're an idiot. You make a mistake, you're a failure. Someone disagrees with you, they're evil. You're reducing complex human beings to single labels. You're turning a three-dimensional world into a cartoon where everyone's either a hero or a villain, including yourself. 14th, being right. You'd rather die than be wrong. Being wrong feels like death because you've equated being right with being worthy. So you argue even when you know you're wrong. You defend positions you don't even believe. You close your mind to new information because it might challenge what you've already decided is true. You're so busy being right that you never get to be happy. 15th, heaven's reward fallacy. You believe the universe is keeping score. Every sacrifice you make, every good deed you do, every desire you deny yourself, it's all being tallied up somewhere, and eventually you'll get your reward. So you exhaust yourself doing the right thing, even when it's killing you, waiting for a cosmic payout that never comes. You're playing a game where the points don't matter and there's no prize at the end. These aren't character flaws. These aren't signs you're broken. These are normal human thinking patterns that every brain falls into. But here's the difference between people who suffer and people who thrive. Awareness. Once you know your brain is filtering reality, you can start looking for what you're filtering out. Once you know you're catastrophizing, you can ask yourself what's actually likely to happen. Once you know you're mind reading, you can admit you have no idea what others are thinking. These distortions feel like truth because they've been running in the background your whole life. They're the operating system you've never questioned. They're the glasses you forgot you were wearing. But they're not truth, they're habits, and habits can be changed. The first step isn't to stop having distorted thoughts. You'll never stop having them completely. The first step is to notice them, to catch yourself in the act, To say, oh, there I go again, catastrophizing, or I'm mind reading right now, or that's my all or nothing thinking. Because the moment you notice it, you're not trapped in it anymore. The moment you name it, it loses some of its power. The moment you see it as a distortion rather than reality, you can choose whether to believe it. Your brain is going to keep lying to you. That's what brains do. They filter and distort and dramatize and catastrophize. But you don't have to believe every thought you have. You don't have to treat every feeling as fact. You don't have to accept every story your brain tells you about who you are and what your life means. You can think about your thinking. You can question your thoughts. You can say, thanks for the input, brain, but I'm going to need a second opinion. Because thinking well isn't about having perfect thoughts. It's about recognizing imperfect thoughts for what they are, distortions, not reality. The truth is, most of your suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from the stories you tell yourself about what happens to you. It comes from the meaning you make, the filters you use, the distortions you believe. Change the thinking, and you change the suffering. Question the thoughts, and you question the pain. See the distortions, and you start to see reality. And reality, it turns out, is usually much kinder than the stories we tell ourselves about it. Your brain is lying to you right now. The question is, are you going to keep believing it?